Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, spanking is making a comeback. Also, we may finally have the answers to the mystery of Bigfoot. All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from RadioU. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Why are scientists even doing this? Why are they swabbing toothbrushes and shower heads looking for viruses? We're all going through life, brushing our teeth as normal, showering as normal, and everyone's doing it just fine. So I don't know what they thought could be gained from this and what they thought could be gained from telling us that when they went ahead and swabbed all of these toothbrushes and shower heads, they discovered over 600 different species of bacteria hunting viruses that live on basically all of our common bathroom items, but they did want to point out that the microbes pose no harm to people. There's no danger to us. So yet again, why are you even letting us know? I mean, it makes sense, right? Even if there was viruses on your shower head that spray down on the water onto you, well, I just wash them off with soap. That's the point of showering. So I just don't know why. I don't know why they need to tell us these things. I guess it's because they say these viruses are actually good. They call them phage. They're supposed to, which is a cool word, by the way. They say that they're supposed to fend off bacteria that actually could be harmful. Isn't that nice of these viruses, I suppose, to fend off all of these bad germs for us? You think they even know? You think the phage even has any idea? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's get on to the podcast. It's the Hudson Show. We are in the midst of useless knowledge all about me today, since it is my birthday. Your useless knowledge question of the day that you can get in with your guess at 8772 RadioU. Many know I was born in Canada, but which Canadian city was I born in? Plenty of good guesses coming in. Many folks know, can at least name one or two Canadian cities. Some of the guesses coming in, obviously, Toronto was one of the most popular guesses. Unfortunately, that is wrong. Also seeing Halifax, the Maritimes. No, that is incorrect. Vancouver, incorrect. Stephanie said Edmonton. Stephanie, do I seem like I was born in Edmonton to you? I don't even know what that means, but that is how I should feel, because where I actually was born has a bit of a rivalry with Edmonton. Shout out to Derek, who got this one right first, although many did happen to know this. I must have mentioned it before on the show. Calgary in Alberta is where I was born, Western Canada. Speaking of myself, do you care that this is also, I'm sure, been mentioned on the show before? As a child, I went an entire baseball season without getting a hit. And yet, I made All-Stars that year. Granted, our All-Star team disbanded without getting a win, but I did make it. But you might expect, as a Canadian, that I had more success playing hockey growing up. In fact, it's possibly even worse, because as a child, in my entire hockey career, I did not score a single goal. And no, I was not a goalie. No wonder my hockey career ended so quickly, and I was kicked out of Canada. Had to find other things to do. Just didn't belong. Now you know a little about me. Happy birthday to myself. I hate when I come here on a Monday and realize that I wasted my weekend. It's not that I did anything bad this weekend. It's not that I didn't do anything at all. It's just that I wasn't at the Pennsylvania Bigfoot convention. That would have been a much better way to spend any of our weekends than whatever we all wound up doing. And some of the things that are said at the Pennsylvania Bigfoot convention, it puts a smile on my face seeing them now. Like the explanation for why is it so hard to catch Bigfoot on camera? Because not only is Bigfoot smarter than humans, according to those at the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Convention, he's smarter. He can run 100 miles an hour. And some say he's interdimensional. So that's why you can chase him down, think you've got him. You're going to snap a picture and then boom, where did the big giant ape man Sasquatch go? Who knows? He went to another dimension, of course, because he's able to do that. I wonder when you see people at Bigfoot conventions, Like, do you think it's fun to sincerely believe in Bigfoot, to sincerely like hold these thoughts in your mind? Is that fun or is it frustrating because nobody listens to you? Although I did admit that my favorite theory that popped up at the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Convention is one guy who says Bigfoot is older than us here on Earth. Bigfoot came to Earth with the aliens, according to this guy. Why did he come with the aliens? The aliens brought him to protect them from dinosaurs. He thinks dinosaurs were real. We are 6 weeks into the NFL season, and it's already over. It's official. The NFC North is the best division in the NFL. The trophy's in the mail. I mean, it's obvious, right? The Vikings, obviously, they're on bye this week, but they've been housing people. The Packers have been housing people. Their game against the Cardinals yesterday over at halftime because they were so far ahead. And then you have the Bears. Think about this. If you've got the Bears crushing people, you know you've got a good division. The Bears dominating the Jaguars in London now. I do want to say pump the brakes on the Bears a little bit. They've got 4 wins. 4 wins all, each against teams with 1 win so far. So maybe a rude awakening coming for the Bears when they have to play actual good teams. And then, of course, you've got the Lions who just dominated the Cowboys yesterday. That was a wild game, yet another one that was over by halftime. And I wish Nene was here. I wish he was here because I'd tell him, listen, Nene, for the Cowboys, yes, yesterday looked bad. Yes, it's like the 3rd time this season the Cowboys have been absolutely crushed. But their season's not over. They're still only a game behind Washington in the division. That's a sentence you weren't thinking you'd hear this NFL season. The Cowboys a game behind Washington, but they're still in the mix. They are in the mix. Their division, well, thankfully for the Cowboys, nowhere near as good as the NFC North. And so they've still got a chance to make the playoffs and then get crushed by one of these great teams. A new restaurant is opening up dedicated entirely to Doritos. No, I'm not talking about Taco Bell. This is a restaurant that is literally only serving dishes that include Doritos. It's called Doritos After Dark. It's opened up in the Crypto.com arena in LA over the weekend, aka the Staples Center. And it serves things like a Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon Late Night Rita, a classic tequila margarita, but with a Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon rim. Also, a Doritos Spicy Sweet Chili Ramen Rito, a burrito consisting of grilled chicken, oodles of ramen noodles, crushed spicy sweet chili Doritos, charred corn scallions, and cilantro and a flour tortilla. There's also Doritos nachos, a Doritos hot nacho veggie dumplings, and to wash it all down for dessert, Doritos nacho cheese cruntastic vanilla cone. So basically, they finally let somebody who is high out of their mind open up a restaurant in the Crypto.com arena. This is absolutely insane. Although some of it doesn't sound so bad. The box office breakdown, looking at what made money and what did not in theaters over the weekend. If you saw anything good, let me know at 8772-RADIO-U. Number 1 at the box office. This is quite a shock to me. But apparently there's a lot of sickos out there that wanted to go see Terrifier 3, a horror movie, a Christmas horror movie, before we even get to Halloween, about a clown that terrifies people, maims them, very gory, as I understand it. It made over $18 million. That was good enough to be number 1 at the box office. Pretty impressive, too, considering that the previous installment of Terrifier 2, made $15 million worldwide total. Then this one comes along, makes $18 million just in North America in its opening weekend. People love scary movies about clowns. I don't understand it, but that's what people are doing this weekend. Number 2 at the box office was The Wild Robot, the kids movie that was pretty well reviewed. That made another $13 million. Number 3, speaking of scary movies about clowns, the Joker, Folie à Deux. What's scary about it is how bad it did. $7 million, an 81% drop off, the biggest drop off for a movie in its second weekend, for any superhero movie in its second weekend, I believe ever. Surpassing the Marvels from last year. That's not good. Although, when you can drop off 81% and still be number 3 at the box office, that means you made a decent amount of money in that opening weekend. The problem is it looks like they're still not going to make enough money to even out the budget for Joker 2. So I guess it's a good thing that Todd Phillips says he's not bringing it back. By the way, Piece by Piece was the other new movie this weekend, the Pharrell Williams Lego movie that made almost $4 million. That came in at number 5. What did you see over the weekend? Let me know at 8772 Radio U. For me, I was watching scary movies, not Terrifier 3, but what I did watch is a movie from 1958 called The Blob, starring Steve McQueen. First of all, great theme song. You should definitely look that up. Second of all, they did something in The Blob that is actually heinous to me. It would never be done in a movie today. And this is a spoiler alert for a movie that is over 50 years old, over 60 years old. That is, they introduce a dog into the movie. The dog is seen and it's around for a while. And then the dog, seemingly the dog dies. The dog doesn't die, but they don't show the dog again. It's just like the clearest ending of a movie today would be like, oh, look, there's that dog. We thought it died and it's back. And that's the end of the movie. That is not what they do. The dog disappears 2/3 of the way into the movie. It does not die, but it's never seen again. I thought that was actually crazy in The Blob, but an enjoyable movie, a surprisingly quick moving movie for one that's over 60 years old. It's a fun watch if you're into that kind of thing. We're doing Love 'Em or Leave 'Em on the Hudson Show. If you've ever got relationship issues that need to be sorted out, you need an independent mediator. Hey, that's what the Hudson Show is here for. Let us know at 8772 Radio U. Today we have a gal who says, here's the situation. My fiance, he has been sneaking my food. I've been sticking to a strict diet and drink one Monster Energy drink a day since coffee upsets my stomach, but I still need to get my caffeine. The problem is he keeps taking my Monsters and eating my other diet food, leaving me short on what I need for the day. And we've been budgeting pretty tightly, so it's a real hassle. Even though he always promises to replace what he takes later on, it throws off my plans, my diet plans for the day. I'm getting increasingly frustrated, not sure how to handle it. I don't mean to laugh. This is annoying. This is like the worst roommate ever, but it's one thing when it's your roommate. It's totally different when it's your fiance. 8772 Radio U. What do we do to help out this gal and sort out this relationship situation? How do you have this conversation? She's had it several times already, it sounds like. Hasn't made a difference. We heard from Susanna, who says, offer to stock extras of the items at a charge. Post a price sheet with significant upcharge and count everything each day and turn in a bill each week. I would be surprised if he actually winds up paying you on that, though, is the thing. Taylor says, you've already tried talking to him. Maybe the next step is setting firmer limits. Hide your stuff if you have to. Y'all aren't even married yet and you're hiding your own food. I hate these kind of love and relieve them because this is so like an immature thing and he's not respecting you. But what are you going to break up with him? You're going to call off we're calling off the wedding. He wouldn't stop stealing my Monster Energies. Casey says, honestly, I'd be annoyed too. If he keeps eating your food, maybe it's time for a more serious talk. How much more serious can we get here, Casey? And then Regina says it's disrespectful and not loving to do that and not respect that you specifically, easy for me to say, bought the food. Ask if he wants extras for him, and if you don't share money yet, send a money. You got to start Zelle request your fiance for the Monsters and other diet food that he's stealing. I feel like I'm not offering, and none of us are offering really adequate. You're sending him a bill, you're sending him Venmo requests, hiding your food. None of this feels like a very good way to set off a relationship, to get started before y'all even are married. But yet again, you're going to break up with him because he's stealing your Monsters. I think this is the best advice is this is a more serious talk. I think, what did Casey say that? This has got to go from, hey, stop stealing my food to listen here, buddy. We're going to call off the ultimatum. We're calling off the wedding if you don't stop stealing my Monster Energy drinks. How great was it that the college football weekend delivered on the hype. Did you think it was getting like there were so many good games and we were so excited going into it that there's just no chance it could actually be as fun as we all hoped it would be? And then it was. So many great finishes. Penn State versus USC, a close game. I'm not buying either of those teams. Penn State, they only won a big game for once because they were against another team that can never win a big game. Lincoln Riley coached team. Ohio State and Oregon obviously delivered on all the hype as well. I know there's a lot of disappointed Ohio State fans, but that's what you get when you have big game, another big game coach. Like, I don't know how they managed to lose these games in such ridiculous fashion a year in and year out. But hey, even if, well, at least as a semi-neutral observer, it was fun to watch. One thing that crossed my mind, though, about college football this weekend, I don't know why I didn't realize this earlier, but we are going to get, with these mega conferences, some tomfoolery, some actual shenanigans when it comes to conference championship games. I looked this up. This is actually a possibility. Unlikely, but a possibility that Oregon, Indiana, and Penn State could all be undefeated in the Big Ten at the end of the year. How do you choose who gets into the championship game at that point? And if there can be 3 undefeated teams in the same conference, think about how many 1-loss teams could all be tied. 2-loss teams. Somehow we're going to look up. It's going to be like Nebraska against Oregon in the conference championship game, even though they lost to Ohio State. I don't even understand. Just prepare yourself. Anyone else have a hard time going to sleep last night? Does this happen to anybody else where you watch sports before you go to bed? The outcome of the sports makes you upset. And then like you just cannot sleep because that's the last thing. And then I wake up today and I'm fine. I'm not upset because there's other things going on in life. But when the sports is the last thing that you experience, then that's all that's on your mind. So last night, I'm sure I can't be the only one that was upset about the Jets and Bills game. The Bills do wind up winning on Monday Night Football 23-20. Aaron Rodgers throws an interception on the Jets' last drive. It was pretty bad. And I'm upset because I love Aaron Rodgers and I love, well, I guess by proxy then, the Jets. But I'm not the only one who's upset about the referees. People of neutral parties, people all from all walks of life across the globe. People upset about how many flags were thrown in the game last night and how cheap so many of the calls were. And I'm not alone. Aaron Rodgers himself was complaining about the referees after the game at a press conference. And you're thinking, oh, yeah, typical Aaron Rodgers, making an excuse. No, he said that a pass interference that was called because he got tackled after throwing the ball. He said that was a bad call. One of many. The officials were out of control last night. As a Aaron Rodgers and Jets supporter, I had to wake up today and just have some optimism. Like, look, they're 2-4, but they could easily, if the referees didn't just, I mean, they screwed them and the Bills. It was just horrible referees. But if the referees were fine last night, maybe the game goes different. If the Jets had a kicker that could make a couple kicks, they could easily be 4-2 right now. So all hope is not lost. But just what a way to end your day. On a Monday, on my birthday. They do that to me. I took that picture. Prepare to be disappointed this Halloween. I'm telling you right now, because apparently people are buying less and less chocolate for Halloween. And you can understand why when you hear that apparently the price of chocolate, the average price, has gone up 40% since 2020. So no wonder people are shying away from chocolate and instead choosing what is supposedly cheaper options like gummies and licorice. But I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm out taking my Halloween bucket around and I'm getting loaded up on gummy bears and Twizzlers, that's okay, but I need some chocolate in there. So what can we do to make this Halloween better? I think it's more important this year than ever that we round up everybody, that we, me and the boys, we're getting together. We're going to the rich neighborhood. It's not even we're not even looking for king size bars this year. We're just looking for a Twix, a fun size Twix instead of gummy bears, Haribos. If you need a little encouragement in your life, Everett, Washington has you covered. They just installed what they call it a sculpture, but like it's a crosswalk made by an artist. His name is Timothy C. Flood. And on the crosswalk, what seems to be a regular crosswalk, when you press the button to cross, it will also say things like, you are important, you are strong, One says that tickles, supposed to give you a little chuckle when you're crossing the street. I think, it's a nice idea. Who couldn't use a little encouragement in your life? But let's be realistic. At least for me, I'm not even going to see these messages because I'm going to be too busy looking at my phone and seeing the angry things people are saying and also getting hit by a car. Whenever you've got a workplace issue, the Hudson Show is the place to turn. We call this fired or hired. And maybe you can give some good advice in this case to this scenario at 8772 RadioU. This one's so wild to me. We have someone who says, I have a coworker whose desk is right next to mine. They never call in sick, but always come in sick saying things like, oh, it's just a cold, while they are sneezing and coughing all over the place every 2 seconds. They sound completely congested and constantly complain how sick they are, how they have no energy, feel like death, etc. Every time they pick up the phone or someone asks them how they are, they say, I'm sick or I feel like death. No one else in the office seems bothered by this, though. They joke about it and say things like, can't wait till I get it, or sharing is caring. There was one recent instance where I had a very important event on Friday. I come in on Monday before, and you guessed it, they're sick as a dog. I asked them to go home, and they said the usual, I'm fine, it's just a cold, while joking with the other colleagues about dying from it. I had to ask my manager to be moved to a different part of the office that week to try to avoid getting sick, as they don't want us to work from home. Not only are we sat next to each other, but we have constantly passed each other paperwork, and there's only one bathroom in the office, so we have to touch the same doorknobs. And finally, an important detail, we have unlimited sick days that we get paid for. What should I do? 8772 RadioU. This is so crazy. Look, I get it all the way until we have unlimited sick days and they keep coming in. What? How do we resolve this? J-Rod says, this is not fired or hired. This is contact a lawyer. That is, it's a little extreme, but it gets the point across. Like, yeah, you got to, this worker's already said something directly to the sick individual in question that keeps coming into work, who, by the way, has unlimited sick days. And so far, that hasn't made a difference. We also heard from Casey, who says it sounds like your coworker doesn't realize how serious this is for others. Have a calm but firm chat with them about how it impacts your work and well-being. Casey, one, it kind of sounds like they've done that, but two, is it like if you're just coworkers and you're not like their boss? I don't know if that's your place, which is why I actually like this one from Alex, who says carry sanitizing wipes and hand sanitizer to minimize germs, and definitely bring it up again to management. Your health matters. I think this is not something you should have to deal with. You should keep coming to the boss and say, hey, we have unlimited sick days, and whoever this is continues to come in sick. You need to either like permanently move my desk or do something about this, because this is not fair to me. I want to actually stay healthy and, be able to work too. It's so crazy. Unlimited sick days. And you're coming into work sick. If I had unlimited sick days, you know how many sick days I'd use? Unlimited. Spanking is generally frowned upon these days. Not many people that I know of actually would go ahead and spank their kids. But maybe that's all about to change. A new study has come out that has found that spanking accounted for less than 1% of variations in child outcomes. In other words, it's not that children can't have issues, but it is that it's unlikely, at least according to this study, that those issues are caused by spanking. I mean, who was this study conducted by? My parents, but they say that spanking does not cause harmful outcomes. This is actually Robert Lazar-Lear. He is an endowed professor for parenting research at Oklahoma State University. He says, the quote is that spanking does not cause harmful outcomes unless it is used too often or too severely or out of meanness rather than out of concern for the child's welfare. So in other words, at least according to him and according to the study, if you're spanking your child for the right reasons, I guess that is okay. It seems like. Just guys, seriously though, do not tell my parents about this. I finally got them to stop spanking me like a couple weeks ago, And I'm concerned that if they see this, well, I don't know. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.